Hi everybody, welcome to my Unruly Housewife channel. We are doing Frugal February at the moment, if you can say that at the moment, where we are trying to save money with a no spend. I am anyway, not spending my personal money. So we're still getting shopping and bills and everything, but I'm not spending my personal money on any craft supplies, clothes, gadgets, all the things that I normally waste money on. So that's going to be interesting. A few of you jumped in and joined me, and it seems like a really good time to talk about decluttering your craft room. I'll just say here that I showed you my cat doorbells last time, and a cat has just gone into the garage. He's shut in there. It's Gizmo. I think he might ring the doorbell to come out. So if we hear the doorbell, it's going to be Gizmo. Hooray. Okay. Or he'll scratch the door and just ruin everything. Okay, so today we are looking at decluttering a craft room. And if you think about it, it's quite weird that you would have clutter in your craft room. Surely that's a place of creativity and wonder and full of beautiful things that you're going to use to make crafts, inspirational things, but that's so often not the case. And I think the reason we have clutter in the craft room is because buying crafts is not terribly expensive in the, each bit that you buy obviously amounts to a lot of money. It's very pretty, craft stuff is pretty, it's inspirational. We have like a fantasy of how we're going to be making all this stuff into beautiful things, and it's like buying toys. It's like a bit of childhood really. And for a lot of women, we look at craft supplies in the same way as we might look at men. There's so much potential, but it doesn't usually amount to much. So sorry. So I've kind of made some notes and I'm going to go through them, so I will be looking at them. I'm way too old to remember stuff. Okay, so we've gone through how easy it is and seductive it is to buy craft supplies. So what can we do? Because I'm starting from buying, because that's how the clutter got there in the first place, and I think that's worth addressing. Well, you should perhaps, when you're going to buy something, focus more on what you're buying. In other words, do you have the time to use it? And what kind of add-ons will it need? So it's quite easy to think, oh, well, I'll buy some paints. They look amazing. They're but what about you're then going to need canvases. You're then going to need brushes and something to clean the brushes with, and maybe some sealant to put on after the paint, etc., etc. Most things that we buy that look amazing, if they're craft things, they're going to end up needing some kind of add-ons. So you need to think about the space for that and the money for that, as well as the thing that you are initially buying. My suggestion at the moment is, if your craft room needs decluttering, that you stop shopping. Just stop shopping, don't buy any more craft supplies, and give yourself a breathing space of a month or so to have a look and to pare things down, so that instead of sitting in a room that kind of crushes your inspiration by making you feel overwhelmed and guilty and not having enough room, that you open up a place where you can be creative and use the creative supplies that you've already got and that you want to use, if we haven't got rid of them by then. Okay, so stop shopping, make a wish list. If you really are terrified that you're going to forget that you saw something, some shiny paper, put it on a wish list, either written or on Amazon if you've still got an Amazon account. You don't have to buy it. Just wait. Is that green? I can see something green. It's mint sauce. Sorry, I'm trying try not to look at if it's dirty, don't judge me. Or do, I don't care. Okay, so stop shopping, make a wish list if you really need to, and don't kid yourself, because a lot of people kid themselves. Oh well, I'm going to I know I've bought this clay, I know I've bought these findings, but I'm going to make 90 pairs of earrings and sell them at a craft fair. How much do you think I should price them for? Or do I need to get insurance? Yes, in the UK you probably do. Oh, I've got to hire a stall. And all these things. And instead of having this beautiful thing where you think, I'm going to see if I can make some gorgeous earrings, you create in your own home like a kind of sweatshop, like a guilt-fueled sweatshop in your spare bedroom. And don't kid yourself, it's extremely hard to make a living making craft things. It's probably even still hard to even cover your costs. So unless you're absolutely desperate for a side hustle, I do think that the best thing you can do for yourself is to see that it's some self-love, it's a hobby, and it's you don't have to sell it. Try to calm down on that score. You take an inventory or an inventory or whatever you call it of your stuff, so that you can see exactly what you've got. Now, some of you have laughed out loud at that suggestion. I'm one of them. But I mean, it is a good thing to do. But if it seems impossible to you or incredibly difficult, you've definitely got too much stuff. That's what I say. So think about doing that. Dive in once you're going in and going through your stuff, whether or not you're writing it down. Have a look, and some things will just naturally declutter themselves. Are they dried up, expired? Have you got kind of yellowy varnish and dried up pens and things like that? Clay that's so hard that by the time the polymer clay that a lot of us in our community use, sorry, it's kind of a bit of crossover here, you may not do polymer claying, but it can be extremely hard and to soften up and difficult to use. If that's happened to your clay, if you're really struggling with it, maybe it's time to get rid of it. Sometimes things take so much energy to make them workable that you're left with no energy for creativity. You have my full permission to grab those packets of dried up useless clay and throw them in the bin. There you go. That's probably the most valuable thing you get from this video. You have my permission. Throw that rubbish away. You could look and think, well, do you like the craft? Because if you've got several crafts on the go, there may be one that you didn't quite like or didn't connect with. Or like I bought a set of all the stuff you needed to start, needle felting. And it was a lovely kit, and I thought, I'm going to start needle felting. So I bought it, and it's all in a rainbow, and there's all the dear little needles and tools, and it was very, very exciting. And then I put it on the corner of my craft table, and it was like in the corner of my eye at the back. And I was doing the polymer clay things that I needed to do for my videos, and I was making videos, and all the time this little set of needle felting stuff was looking at me. And I was looking at it, and I felt guilty that I'd spent the money, and it got to a point in the end where I felt like if I used it, it would be through some very negative energies of guilt and of I really must use it, and I don't want to waste the money, instead of like I did originally, I really love to try needle felting. So what I did was I took that bundle and I put it on a Facebook Marketplace, and I halved the price I'd paid for it, and I said, come and get it. And a woman came, she was lovely, and she said, I'm so excited, I've always wanted to try needle felting, but I couldn't really afford it, thank you so much, and this is brilliant. And she took it away. I had more space on my table, I didn't feel guilty anymore, she was over the moon. It was a win-win. I'd lost maybe like 10 quid or something, I'm not sure, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it was the best thing I could have done. Maybe if you've got a craft that you're definitely doing, like I'm doing polymer clay, maybe there's something that you bought for it that doesn't work for you, that you don't like. I think it's Primo makes some opal clay, and it's got like big chunks of iridescent stuff in, and when you try to cut out shapes, it's jagged, and it's really, really irritating. Right, okay, I want to put all my polymer clay together and show what a range I've got, but I don't need to have some that I don't like. Fimo leather is rubbish. The cat rang the doorbell. Let me let him through. Excuse me. Gizmo, you rang the bell. Good boy. Good Boy, come here so we can see you. No, he's not coming here so we can see him. I'll put a picture of him on my community page. Yes, so if you got actually no, I can do better than that. If you go to Unruly Housewife on Facebook, you can see a video of Gizmo ringing the doorbell from the garden in. Okay, so do that actually, and give it a like. Where was I? Oh, good Lord. Oh yeah, so if there's an item, Fimo leather, I hated it, the clay. I didn't like it much. I didn't like working with it. You know, yes, you want to show that you own all the stuff, but you don't need to keep it if you don't like it. Even if it makes your collection incomplete, get rid of it. You don't need it. So yeah, I mean, you might have a friend who's got a use for it, but if you've already opened the packet and used half of it, and no one wants it, and you know, people will say, oh, try and incorporate it into the core of, you know, add it to your scrap polymer clay. Yes, you can use it, but no, you don't need to have like a supermarket shopping bag of it. If you've got way too much scrap, you don't think you're ever going to use it, you can throw some of that in the bin. Is that bad for the environment? Not really, because it already exists, and when you throw it in the rubbish, it still exists. You know, throw it away. You're allowed. So yeah, if there's items you don't like, get rid of them. I bought a bead maker, which I donated or gave to somebody, which rolls like that, and it rolls beads, and I can't use it. I think the beads are rubbish. It's just no good. I think I've got rid of it. Get rid of it if you don't like it. It's taking up room in your drawer. Now you could always, if you've got too much fabric and a sewing machine, or too many paints and stuff like whatever you've got too much of, find somebody who could come around to your house and you can give them lessons. You could either charge them for lessons, or you could just take a child and let them experience a craft that they wouldn't normally experience, or you get a friend to come round, or someone you meet at your local craft group, and say, hey, you know what, come to my house and I'll show you how to make X. And just be nice, share your good fortune, or, you know, sell it, or, I mean, charge them for lessons, it's up to you. But yeah, you know, don't sit there buried by your hoard of stuff. Get someone else involved, it'll be fun. You could shop your craft room. Very friend way of putting it. I bought an 8-year-old's birthday card for my great niece the other day. Why did I do that? I've got loads of blank cards in the drawer upstairs and loads of polymer clay. Now, okay, I've got an excuse because Brandon's staying here at the moment, but in that circumstance, what would have been nice was to take my polymer clay, bake myself a nice little 8, put it on the front of one of those blank cards and send her something that was made just for her. So, and the same goes with making presents for people, or, you know, I've started knitting again. If you've got a load of knitting wool and needles, you could make somebody a scarf. Have a little think how you can save yourself from shopping for things by making beautiful, unique things from your craft supplies. And don't make that be an idea in your head that sounds nice. Make it a reality is what I'm saying. I'm sure you've had that idea before, but make it a reality and use up your craft supplies that way. If once you've sorted out the supplies that you're not going to use, or that you don't like, or that are, you know, obviously you've thrown away all the ones that are like played out and out of date. But if you've got things left, you can donate them, you can sell them on Facebook Marketplace, or you have, as I've said a million times, my permission to throw them away. And yeah, just try and narrow down perhaps your interests if you've got too many crafts going on, and try to turn your craft room into a positive space. It's mindset, really. Tell yourself, I don't want to be somebody who says, oh, I'm so creative, I can barely move in my craft room for the stuff. and say, you know what, I've got a lovely space and the things I need to do my crafts, and that's good enough for me. And in fact, the mere fact that you need an entire room for your craft stuff, if you're not making much, should ring a few bells. I don't want you to be guilty though. I want you to be positive. I want you to brighten up give yourself some more oxygen in your craft room, give yourself some space, narrow your focus a little bit so that you can get more attuned to the things that you can make. And I really hope this has helped. Oh, I hope that it helped. Yeah, I'm not sure that helped. But anyway, yeah, declutter your craft room, have some fun with it. Tell me how you're getting on. How's Frugal February going? I nearly bought, yesterday I was carving a chicken with what felt like a breadstick. My knife was so blunt. I haven't got a knife sharpener. I thought, shall I buy a knife sharpener? Shall I buy a little, carving set? First day of Frugal February, I was like, And I thought, no, I've been doing this for 3 years. What possible difference would it make? And I didn't buy it. Tell me down below, what didn't you buy yesterday? I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got some value out of it. And yeah, look on Unruly Housewife on Facebook if you want to see that cat ringing the doorbell. And that was amazing. He did it. Okay, I'm going to go now. I love you all. Bye-bye.